From the land of frozen lakes, this is 10,000 Takes. Brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week. We are ecstatic you've tuned us in. As always, plenty of things to get into. Let's start, though, with college football. On Monday night, the NCAA crowned a new champion, the Indiana Hoosiers. How about a 16-0 season?
Who'd have thunk?
They were dominant in a lot of their wins. Now, Miami certainly competed and almost pulled it out down there at Hard Rock Stadium in SoFlo. But the Hoosiers, wow, they are a juggernaut. And my question to you is, because just a few years ago, they were a doormat. They were a laughingstock.
Wasn't that long
They were
ago.
below Minnesota on the totem pole in the Big Ten. Can the Gophers ever have a meteoric rise like this?
Oh, boy. Is there a Mark Cuban in Minnesota somewhere?
That's probably the big question, right?
Yeah, probably is. I mean, he dumped a lot of money into that program. He was right there. I saw him in his suite at about the 50-yard line and watching his Indiana Hoosiers, his alma mater, take it all. I don't know, man. I mean, this is a phenomenal story, obviously. Indiana going from... Look, the Gophers used to schedule Indiana as their homecoming game. You always try to schedule a team that you think you're going to beat on homecoming, right? Because you want the alums to be happy. You want everybody to be happy on homecoming. Well, that's typically the Gophers said, hey, we have the Hoosiers on homecoming. Now the Gophers have to go to Indiana, and I'll bet they're going to want the Gophers for their homecoming this year.
Week 4 of the 2026 season.
That's about right.
Minnesota goes down to Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm sure the Hoosiers will be a double-digit favorite. Obviously, it starts with Curt Cignetti, this coach they got from James Madison, who has quickly built a culture. As you mentioned, he's got the Mark Cuban cash pipeline for NIL and all that good stuff. But you know, is it sustainable? I would say yes. I mean, the last 2 years, they've been an outstanding program. And think about this. In the late 1970s, Indiana had an undefeated basketball team. I believe they went 32-0 under Bob Knight. That's one of the greatest single seasons in college hoops history. What we just saw this past year, one of the greatest single seasons in college football history. So Indiana, not just a basketball state anymore. They can play football.
Yeah, well, they play very well, I might add. And they won, dominating victories throughout the regular season, dominating victory over Oregon in the national semifinals. I mean, they just went crazy this year. And, deservedly the national champions. Now, so the AP comes out with their final poll, right? They do this every year after the season, after all the bowl games and the playoffs are over. And obviously, Indiana's number 1. They got Miami at number 2. Oregon in at number 4 from the Big Ten. For some reason, they're ahead of Ohio State, even though Ohio State didn't lose.
Bitter.
Ohio State didn't lose any games by 50 points, by the way. Oregon did. But listen to this, okay? So Iowa, USC, and Michigan all in the top 25, okay? Receiving votes. Now, there's about a dozen teams that receive votes. The Gophers are none of them, even though they continue to win bowl games. They've won 9 straight? Yep. What was the name of the bowl game they won this year?
The Rate Bowl in Phoenix. Not the Rose Bowl, the Rate Bowl.
The Rate Bowl. They knocked off some team from New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, the Lobos.
Okay. All right. So here are some of the teams that got votes, but the Gophers didn't. And to give you an idea of how far they have to come, Old Dominion, okay? Boise State. The Rainbows of Hawaii got a vote. Wake Forest got votes. And how about this one? Western Michigan. Does that sound familiar, PJ Fleck?
Yeah.
Didn't he used to be in that territory?
That was the launching pad to Minnesota.
Okay, so there you have it. There the map is laid out. What do the Gophers have to do to even get into this group that received votes?
All right, I'm going to make a plea.
Okay.
I'm sure it will fall on deaf ears out there in corporate Minnesota. The Twin Cities, as we know, has a ton of Fortune 500 companies.
For now.
Certainly a lot more than Bloomington, Indiana. Probably more than any other spot in the Big Ten, maybe sans Los Angeles now, and perhaps Seattle. Other than that, there's a lot of money here, a lot of business. Cargill, I think that's the richest corporation on the earth. Whoever's running Cargill, you got to be our Mark Cuban. You got to be Minnesota's sugar daddy. Start funneling money to PJ and the Gophers so Minnesota can finally rise up the food chain and actually compete for a title. Because, as we know, money is the ultimate dictator on where some of these players are going to go these days. With NIL, that's just the reality.
Yeah, and you say sugar daddy? Sugar's a grain, right? Isn't that what Cargill's into?
Cargill's all about
They're
grain.
all about agriculture and grain. Okay, yeah. I just think that we are stuck in this mediocrity that I don't know that they can ever get out of. Now, Indiana has proven that they can do it. Now, the difference, of course, is Bloomington, Indiana is not a major metropolitan area. And the Indiana Hoosiers are everything in Bloomington, Indiana. Minneapolis, we've got 4 pro teams just in the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and NFL. And that's not to mention the women's teams.
Can I throw a little shade on
MLS? And okay, go on.
That's why I throw a little shade on that. I agree with you.
You're going to go to LA.
It's very collegiate. No, I won't even go to Los Angeles. I'll go to Miami, the team that almost beat Indiana. They've got all the sports teams down there in SoFlo. They've got more Division I schools in the state of Florida. And yet Miami was right there playing for the title. I just don't want to hear that as a crutch as to why it can't happen in Minnesota. And I still think the Gophers have one of the top stadiums in college football. It's relatively new, all the bells and whistles.
All right, well, the Big Ten keeps winning championships. That's what I do know. And they've won the last 3 in football, but not this one.
Yeah, Michigan, Ohio State, and now Indiana. We are 10K Takes, your Cargill Jump on Board ticket.
Recovery isn't just for elite athletes, it's for anyone who wants to feel better in their body. At $5.10 Wellness, our infrared sauna and red light therapy help reduce muscle soreness, improve circulation, and support faster recovery. Whether you're training hard, staying active, or just feeling worn down, infrared heat works deep into muscles and joints, while red light therapy supports cellular repair and inflammation reduction. No impact, no downtime. Athlete or not, your body does the work for you every day. Stop in at $5.10 Wellness and start recovering the smart way.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
10,000 takes, and the football season rolls on. Of course, it's been without Minnesota influence here for a while, but we have the NFL playoffs continuing this weekend, and joining us now to talk National Football League and those conference championship games is our friend Warren Moon, the former Minnesota Viking, Hall of Famer. Okay, Warren, let's start with the Minnesota Vikings before we get into breaking down what's going to happen this weekend. So Sam Darnold is not brought back by the Minnesota Vikings. They certainly had the option of franchise tagging him, bringing him back on a franchise tag for a year after going 14-3 last year. He goes to Seattle, has another 14-3 season, wins big in the first playoff game they played last weekend, and here they are in the conference championship game. How big a drag do you think that is on the Minnesota Vikings front office for making that or lack thereof decision?
Well, I'm sure they're second guessing themselves a little bit, but I think they also felt like they had a really good, promising young quarterback in the fold that they drafted in the first round, and they felt like he could be the future of the ball club. So they had to make a decision. Do we want to go with a guy that is on a lesser salary and he's going to be the future of our football team, or do we want to pay a guy $100 million, which is going to take a lot of our salary cap, and we won't be able to build the rest of our team? So I think that's the decision they had to make, and it's unfortunate that Sam came up with a huge year this year and their quarterback didn't. So, that's just the choices that you make when you make those type of decisions. It kind of reminds me of when I was traded to the Minnesota Vikings. They could have signed me in Houston after I had been to my sixth straight Pro Bowl, but they decided to go with the younger guy and Cody Carlson, and that didn't pan out either. So, you make those decisions within the organization for different reasons, and a lot of them are salary cap reasons or financial reasons, and some of them are because you just feel like the guy you drafted high, that you have a great confidence that he's going to be your starter for the next 10, 12 years.
All right, if you're the Minnesota Vikings general manager right now, going into next season, and you have to have a backup quarterback, or at least somebody to compete with JJ in training camp, how good a player are you trying to get? I mean, are you looking at a guy that probably isn't going to beat him out and is going to be your number two guy? Or do you want somebody that could be your starting quarterback and beat him out?
That's a great question. Because I probably wouldn't have started JJ in the beginning, to tell you the truth. I would have had a veteran come in or kept Sam and let him play at least a year under Sam before he gets a chance to play. But I don't know if they would have been able to put Sam on a short-term deal. So I understood where they were coming from there. But I don't believe any rookie coming in and starting right away. I think they all need some time to sit and watch and learn, and I think it helps them more than anything. Some guys have been able to get away with it and be successful, but more of them have not been able to be successful when they've had to come in and start right away. So all that being said, you want to bring in a guy that at least gives you a chance to win if he's going to be your backup, knowing that JJ has had all these injury problems, that this guy might play 4 or 5 games throughout the season. So you want to have somebody that's good enough to win those games for you when he has to play.
And Warren, to your point about not expecting a rookie to take over right away, we saw Cam Ward struggle this year in Tennessee. We've seen it with J.J. McCarthy when he does play. The Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. They're probably going to take Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner out of Indiana. If you're the Raiders, if you're Tom Brady, who's upstairs running that team, do you get that established veteran to guide Mendoza, or do you just hand him the keys to the team and say, let's go?
If you can find the right guy out there to do that, yes, you get the guy that can start your season out for you. And maybe you give the reins over to Mendoza maybe halfway through the season, depending on how the season is going. I think because Mendoza is an older guy, he's had a lot of starts in college football, he might be able to come in and start from day one. What is he, 23 years old, maybe 24 by the time so he's a little bit more mature. But if you build the right pieces around him and not have to put it all on his shoulders, I think that helps make his transition a lot easier too. And he seems to be a guy a lot like Tom Brady, and I'm sure Tom's going to be attracted to him because they seem a lot similar in their styles. He might be a little bit better athlete than Tom was, but the way he throws the football from the pocket, the way he dissects things, the way he sees defenses, I'm sure Tom will love having that type of guy with the Raiders organization.
Boy, and the way he ran that light touchdown in the championship game was phenomenal, to say the least. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's no question that he adds. That's another dynamic that he certainly adds to the puzzle. All right, you've seen Seattle play numerous times this year, the Seahawks. What do you like about their chances against the Rams, and what is that matchup going to bring on Sunday?
this is a matchup that really makes me nervous because the Rams have had the Seahawks number pretty much for the last 4 or 5 years since McVay has been there. They split their series this year. I think Seattle still could have won both games if Sam doesn't throw 4 interceptions. They still had a chance to win at the end on a last-second field goal. So if they can take care of the football, I like their chances against the Rams because I think they can get pressure on Stafford. And Matt Stafford is a guy that when he has a clean pocket, he's hard to stop. But if you get pressure in his face, make him have to move it, he's not the same quarterback, and he'll throw the ball to the other team. So that's what I think Seattle is going to really try and bank on, getting pressure with that front four, getting pressure with all the different blitz looks that Mike McDonald likes to employ. And if they can run the football and keep the ball away from that offense, I think they'll have a chance to win this football game. Plus, I think their special teams could be a place where they could really make some headway because the Rams have already fired their special teams coach this year, and that hasn't been one of the strengths of their football team where it has been a strength for the Seahawks.
All right, let's say you're on the Denver Broncos coaching staff in that quarterback room. Bo Nix is out. We know that. You got Jarrett Stidham going in for the Broncos against New England in the AFC title game. Do you dumb it down for Jarrett Stidham and hope that you can get the running game going and maybe have safe passes, ask him to be a game manager, and then tell Vance Joseph that his defense has to play lights out? How do you approach this if you're Denver?
I don't think you have to dumb it down because Stidham knows this offense very well. He's been there since Sean's been there. Sean brought him in before he even drafted Bo Nix. So he had a confidence in him when he brought him in that he could be the starting quarterback until he had a chance to draft Bo Nix, and then he ended up starting Bo because Bo has more of a dual threat personality to him. He can run the football as well. So that's the thing that only bothers me about this week's game. I think Stidham will do all the right things from the pocket, but sometimes that pocket's going to break down, especially when you have a good pass rush. Can you make some plays happen with your legs and get outside the pocket? And that's where I think he's going to struggle a little bit, and that's where the weakness is between those two quarterbacks, that Bo can make some plays with his legs because he can get himself out of trouble. I don't think Stidham can do that, but when the pocket is clean, I think he'll be able to complete passes because he knows that offense pretty well.
All right, before we let you go, I won't ask you to pick a Super Bowl winner, but I will ask you to pick the two teams in the Super Bowl. Who do you like this weekend?
Well, I kind of like Seattle for sure, and I also like New England to go on the road and maybe win that football game only because of the quarterback deficiency. If Bo Nix was there, I would pick the Broncos, but right now having a guy come in as an unknown who's only thrown, 4 passes this year, even though he's a veteran and he's played a lot, this is a big stage to come in for your first football game of the season. So I give the edge to New England on the road.
All right, Warren, quick final question. That throw by Caleb Williams, that Houdini thing to Cole Kmet, is that the wildest touchdown pass you've seen, yes or no?
Not the wildest, but pretty special, and I think what's underrated is that tight end, Clement, did a great job of holding off that DB until the last second, and then he released to the football. Otherwise, that ball should have been picked off. But because he was able to hold the DB off until the last second and go after the football, that's what allowed the completion. It wasn't so much the pass. I think it was more the tight end doing a good job on that defensive back.
All right, Warren, appreciate your time. We'll check in with you when it comes Super Bowl time, and thanks again.
All right, enjoy the championship games, and hopefully I'll see you at the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Warren.
All right.
All right,
He's
guys.
Warren Moon, former Minnesota Viking and, of course, Hall of Famer, right here on 10,000 Takes. Stay with us. Back with more after this timeout.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
We are Minnesota Scores 10,000 Takes, and we have been wondering what's going on with the Gopher men's hockey program. Now, this program traditionally has been one of the powerhouses in all of college hockey, but certainly not this season. They are now 8-14-1 heading into this weekend as they go to play number 2 Michigan State. And last weekend, they got swept by number 1 Michigan. I mean, Michigan's the real deal. But that said, they still have to play these two teams again later on this season. And so it's not looking good for Bob Motzkow's squad. And my question to you is, do you think that Coach Motzkow, in some way, shape, or form, is in trouble? I mean, they haven't won one under him. They got to the championship against Quinnipiac a few years ago, but it really hasn't gone very well, especially this year.
Yeah. Where have you gone, Don Lucia?
Uh-oh.
A Gopher Nation turns its lonely eyes toward you. I mean, he's the last guy to win a title. He did it back-to-back right. I think it was Y2K in 2001. A couple of riots in Dinkytown. I remember that. But, look, they brought in Bob Motzkow from St. Cloud State with high expectations to raise the bar and to get to the Frozen Four. As you said, they have done that, but they haven't won it. And college hockey's regional. Let's not forget, there's only a handful of teams. The Minnesota Gophers should be winning a title at the minimum, in my opinion, once every 7, 8, 9 years. They just should be. They used to say pride on ice, right, for Gopher hockey. Well, I don't think the pride's there right now. And if you're going to hold, let's say, Ben Johnson or Lindsey Whalen, who both lost jobs recently on the basketball side, to the high level of the expectation of winning, the same thing should be for Bob Motzkow. Now, he's an outstanding coach, but look at the NFL. There's a lot of outstanding coaches who don't have jobs today. Yeah. So I wonder, what they're thinking over there in Dinkytown. Mark Coyle, the AD, they can't be happy because right now they're not even a top 4 team in the state. St. Thomas is ranked. That's a St. Paul school. Minnesota is not. That's a red flag.
Yeah, they're not even the top team in the Twin Cities these days, which is frightening. All right. Are you busy this weekend? Twinsfest is going on, right? Okay. So you're gonna have to get out a program to figure out who's signing autographs for you because no Joe Ryan, no Trevor Larnach, no Byron Buxton, which I think would be the number 1 draw. Now a lot of the old timers are going to be there, which is great. That's actually something that I think folks go to get is the those autographs from the old timers. But there's not a lot of interactive stuff because it's all inside at Target Field. It's just different. I always used to like it. I went a couple of times since it's been at Target Field. I mean, I could take it or leave it. How about you?
Yeah, it's going to be wicked cold this weekend. Certainly you want to heat up the hot stove, think some baseball. I know when Twinsfest was at the Metrodome, the crowd count was always high. The Metrodome, I didn't like it for football and baseball, but I loved it for Twinsfest. Yes. It was the perfect venue. It was like this huge indoor baseball mall and a lot of sports memorabilia, stuff like that. But let's be blunt here. I mean, the Twins, the best thing they've done this offseason is not get rid of Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, Byron Buxton, or Royce Lewis or somebody like that. So when the Twins make a move, you got to go right to Google. You got to figure out who they just brought in, like Eric Wagaman from Miami or some of the other guys they've
Caratini, the catcher they
Josh Bell, and maybe some of these guys will work out, but nobody really knows about them now. So I think, Twins Fest, cool. You can go down there and see the locker room, and as you said, run into some of the legends, but It's not what it was.
No, it's indoors. That's the only good news. We'll be back with takes of the day, so don't touch that dial. Stay with us.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, where they're placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
Hey, get your sports fix. By tuning in to 10K Takes, we cover all the Minnesota teams.
Vikings, Twins, Wild, Gophers, you name it. Fox 9 Plus and the Fox Local app.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
"10K Takes" on television as we wrap up yet another episode. Big shout out to the viewers in the Twin Ports, the Twin Cities, and Med City. They're going to soon find out what your mood is. Are you angry, cranky, happy? What are you today?
Well, I was a little perturbed when I found out that Anthony Edwards was not voted in as an all-star to the NBA's All-Star Game, which comes up in February. No big deal. He's going to be named to the team. That's not that big a deal. But you're going to tell me he's not one of the top 10 guys in the NBA or one of the top 5 in the West? Dumb. So what ended up happening is it was a combination of media, player votes, and when they broke it all down in the end, there was a tiebreaker, and then the fans get the tiebreaker, and it went to Victor Wembanyama. So that's why. So this is why the players shouldn't vote, though, okay, to this NBA All-Star Game. Bronny James got votes.
All right.
Why is Bronny James getting votes to the NBA All-Star Game? Players should not be allowed to vote.
Because LeBron votes.
It's stupid.
His civic duty.
Yeah, he voted for himself. He got 2 votes, himself and his dad voted for him. I guess that's how he got him. But that being said, they got this cockamamie scheme now where they're going to play a couple of U.S. teams, players from the U.S. against a team made up from players from around the world. That's the NBA All-Star Weekend. I guess they're going to play some little tournament, so on and so forth. That's great. Their problem is the players don't play hard, and they're trying to find ways to get them to play hard. I don't understand it. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You played this game your whole life. So this one game, you just don't play. You don't play defense. You don't play hard. Why? I don't get it. You'll go play a pickup game on a cement court out in some schoolyard or something, but you're not going to play hard in the NBA All-Star Game? Give me a break. I think the NBA needs to get rid of the All-Star Game if you can't get these guys to play.
All right. Mood meter says demanding diva. Throwing shade on the All-Star Game. All right. Well, I'll talk some Major League Baseball. Recently, the LA Dodgers, team that I follow, signed Kyle Tucker, most recently with the Chicago Cubs, to a 4-year, $240 million deal. He won the lottery. That's $60 million per season. Okay, go Dodgers. But you know what? It's high time for MLB to get a salary cap with a floor and a ceiling. This is just another example of how out of whack things are. You can rail on the Dodgers if you want, but they're just playing by the current set of rules. MLB has to fix this, and it's probably, unfortunately, going to take a lockout later this year as the owners and players butt heads, because we know most players, at least that's what it seems like, don't want a salary cap, and the owners do. And until it happens, you're going to have teams like the LA Dodgers continually signing your key free agents.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, on that note, we got to go. Thanks so much for tuning us in. We are 10K Takes, your sports ticket.